It began on a chilly evening in late autumn, the city wrapped in a smoky haze under flickering streetlights. Jason sat alone in his dimly lit apartment, eyes glued to the laptop screen as he hacked into a phone with practiced ease. He was calm, calculating, driven by a gnawing suspicion that wouldn't let go. The click of keys echoed softly in the room, punctuated by his racing thoughts. Across town, Emily, unaware of the digital storm brewing, sent a photo with a sly smile, her app or affair partner caught mid-flirtation. Jason's heart pounded when the message arrived. He already had access to the same phone. The bitter taste of betrayal mixed with an adrenaline rush. Secrets were about to explode, and Jason's quiet life would unravel faster than he imagined. In his mind, the pieces started to fall into place. Deceptions, lies, and a dangerous game of cat and mouse. He whispered, "She doesn't know I'm already inside." The city lights flickered as the night deepened, shadows creeping closer to reveal hidden truths. Jason's mind raced with fragments of what he had uncovered so far. Each hacked message peeled back layers of lies and deceit. Emily's betrayal wasn't just a fleeting act, it was a calculated double life. The app, a man named Mark, had been texting her from the same phone Jason now controlled. He muttered, "I've been watching this unfold long before she even knew." Paranoia crept in as he questioned everything familiar, his friends, the people he trusted. Outside, the city buzzed, unaware of the quiet storm inside one man's heart. The clock ticked mercilessly. Every second brought him closer to a confrontation he wasn't sure he could win. He whispered, "This ends tonight." Shadows in his apartment seemed to stretch longer, wrapping around him like chains. Jason's phone buzzed with another message from Emily, unaware it would lead him deeper into the rabbit hole. He opened the photo she sent, the one she thought he'd never see. It was a candid shot of Mark, laughing, relaxed, oblivious to the danger closing in. Jason's fists clenched. "You don't know what I'm capable of," he thought grimly. He scrolled through the hacked phone, revealing conversations dripping with secrets. Each word burned like acid on his trust. The realization hit hard. This wasn't just about revenge. It was about reclaiming control over a life shattered by lies. Outside, the rain fell harder, as if the sky mourned with him. The night stretched endlessly before him, a battleground for justice and pain. The silence in the apartment was suffocating. Jason's mind replayed every memory of Emily, the smiles, the shared secrets, the lies she hid behind. He whispered, "How did it come to this?" The weight of betrayal crushed him, but beneath the pain burned a fierce determination. He wasn't just going to watch her destroy everything. Every hacked message, every secret photo was ammunition. His plan was clear now: expose them both. The city's distant sirens and occasional car horns reminded him life went on outside, but for Jason, the night was a war zone. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to strike. "No more hiding," he vowed. Minutes later, Jason's screen flooded with new data, photos, texts, voice notes. Each file was a puzzle piece, revealing a tangled web of deception between Emily and Mark. His breath quickened as he pieced it all together. This wasn't just an affair, it was a betrayal on every level. "She sent me this photo without knowing I already hacked his phone," he muttered, voice low, filled with both anger and disbelief. The quiet hum of his machines filled the room, punctuated only by the rhythmic tapping of keys. Outside, the city lights flickered like distant stars, indifferent to the private chaos unfolding within these walls. Jason sat back in his chair, eyes scanning the mountain of digital evidence before him. The glow of the laptop illuminated his tired face as the weight of betrayal pressed deeper. Each text revealed layers of deceit, not just between Emily and Mark, but involving others too. His fingers traced patterns on the keyboard, hesitating before typing commands to dive deeper into Mark's contacts. He whispered, "This is bigger than I thought." The city outside buzzed with indifference, unaware of the personal war raging in a small, cluttered apartment. Every secret he uncovered fueled his determination, but also his fear. How far would they go to keep their lies hidden? Jason's heart pounded as he prepared for the next move, knowing this night would change everything. Jason's fingers danced over the keyboard, breaking through layers of encryption with steady precision. The deeper he delved, the more he realized the tangled web of lies stretched further than he imagined. Emily's secrets were intertwined with Mark's, but also with people from their shared social circle. Everyone is complicit, Jason thought grimly. He paused, glancing at his phone as another message from Emily arrived, unaware of his silent invasion. The tension in the room was palpable, a mix of adrenaline and heartbreak. The rain outside intensified, drumming against the window as if mirroring the storm inside Jason's soul. He whispered under his breath, "I'm not just watching anymore, I'm taking control." Suddenly, Jason's screen lit up with a new message from Mark himself. A voice note. His heart skipped a beat as he hesitated before clicking play. "Ah." The voice was casual, almost mocking, unaware that Jason was listening in. The words stung with a cruel honesty that pierced Jason's defenses. He clenched his fists, anger and pain mixing in a volatile swirl. He thinks he's untouchable, Jason thought, his mind racing for a way to turn this against him. The rain slowed to a soft drizzle outside, the city lights flickering as if holding its breath. Time seemed to freeze in that moment. Jason poised on the edge of revelation and revenge. Jason replayed the voice note over and over, dissecting every word, every inflection. The casual arrogance in Mark's tone was a dagger, twisting deeper into Jason's trust. But beneath the fury, a new plan began to form, one that didn't just expose the betrayal but dismantled their lives. He knew the risks. He was alone in this fight, but the fire inside him was unrelenting. "They think they can hide behind lies and smiles," he muttered, eyes burning with resolve. Outside, the night deepened, the city's hum fading into a quiet backdrop for Jason's silent war. He leaned forward, ready to strike with all he had. Minutes passed like hours as Jason crafted his next move. He uploaded files, traced contacts, and prepared to send evidence where it would hurt the most. His breath was steady, eyes sharp. The city outside was oblivious to the storm he was about to unleash. Emily's photo, Mark's voice note, they were pieces in a puzzle that Jason was assembling with ruthless precision. He whispered, "They won't see this coming." The night stretched on, endless and full of promise for justice. With one last deep breath, Jason hit send, setting in motion a chain of events that would shatter illusions and change lives forever. The morning light crept through the blinds, casting slivers of cold across Jason's weary face. Sleep had evaded him, his mind spinning with the consequences of last night's revelations. He sat rigid at his desk, reviewing the evidence one last time, knowing that every decision now carried weight far beyond his control. Emily was unaware her world was unraveling, Mark oblivious to the digital trap closing in. Jason whispered, "This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about truth." Outside, the city stirred to life, indifferent to the silent battle unfolding behind closed doors. He felt the sting of isolation, but also a fierce resolve. This night would mark a turning point, either justice or destruction. Jason's phone buzzed, an unknown number. Heart racing, he hesitated before answering. The voice on the other end was calm but firm, warning him to back off. "You're playing with fire," the voice said. Jason's grip tightened around the phone. He realized this was more dangerous than he'd imagined. The people involved weren't just careless lovers. They were willing to protect their secrets at any cost. Yet, fear only fueled his determination. "I'm already in too deep," he thought. The city's noise faded to a distant hum as Jason stared into the abyss of uncertainty. He whispered, "They want me to stop. I won't." Jason spent hours mapping connections, friends, colleagues, unknown numbers, all linked in a secret web around Emily and Mark. Each discovery sharpened the picture of a double life far more complicated than he expected. It wasn't just betrayal, it was manipulation, lies carefully constructed to deceive many. "They used everyone," Jason muttered, eyes tired but fierce. His screen flickered as he uncovered photos, messages, even location data. This was a labyrinth, and he was determined to find the center. Outside, clouds gathered ominously, casting a gray pallor over the city. The storm brewing inside Jason matched the one above, both threatening to break. The phone buzzed again. A message from Emily. Jason opened it slowly, his heart pounding. Another photo, this time more intimate, taken in a place Jason recognized instantly. A flash of anger surged as he realized she was flaunting her secret life, oblivious to the destruction it was causing. He whispered to himself, "You think you're safe, but I'm everywhere." The city lights outside began to flicker with the coming storm. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to expose the lies, ready to bring truth to light. The line between hunter and hunted blurred, and Jason embraced the chaos within. Jason took a deep breath, steadying himself for what came next. He composed a message, carefully crafted, devastatingly truthful, destined for Emily and Mark's closest allies. The room was silent, except for the faint hum of electronics and the distant rumble of thunder. With a final tap, he hit send, unleashing a digital bombshell. The consequences were unknown, but Jason felt a grim satisfaction. This is the reckoning, he thought. Outside, lightning split the sky, illuminating the city in stark white light. Inside, Jason sat back, waiting, knowing that his life, and theirs, would never be the same. Jason watched as the messages he sent rippled through Emily's circle like shockwaves. His phone buzzed incessantly, reactions flooding in, some defensive, others furious, many confused. The weight of his digital assault pressed heavily on him, but he stood firm. Each new reply revealed fractures in their carefully built facades. He thought, the truth hurts worse than any lie. Alone in his apartment, he felt the surge of power mixed with doubt. Was this justice or revenge? The rain outside softened, a pale dawn creeping over the city skyline, casting muted light through the window. Jason breathed deeply, knowing the battle was far from over. Emily's world shifted violently. She stared at her phone, disbelief and anger swirling in her eyes. The messages were everywhere, exposing her lies and Mark's betrayals. Friends turned distant. Whispers spread like wildfire. She crumpled onto her couch, heart pounding, the weight of exposure crashing down. How did he find out? She gasped. Panic and regret gnawed at her. Outside, the city's hum felt distant, isolating. Emily's fingers trembled as she debated her next move, torn between denial and confession. The night's darkness lingered despite the approaching morning light. Mark's phone buzzed relentlessly as his closest friends and colleagues received the explosive evidence. He paced in his sleek downtown apartment, tense and furious. His mask of control cracked as he realized Jason's reach was deeper than expected. "This isn't over," Mark growled, eyes sharp with menace. He dialed a number, voice cold and clipped, issuing orders to contain the fallout. Outside, the city pulsed with indifferent energy, unaware of the storm of secrets threatening to engulf its players. Mark's calculated arrogance began to crumble beneath mounting pressure. Jason sat quietly, absorbing the chaos his actions had unleashed. A mix of satisfaction and exhaustion washed over him. He knew the road ahead was fraught with danger, but his resolve never wavered. The truth was out, raw and undeniable. Yet questions haunted him. Would Emily and Mark fight back or crumble under exposure? The city outside stretched endlessly, a labyrinth of secrets and lies. Jason whispered, "No matter what happens, I won't be a victim anymore." His eyes gleamed with quiet determination as the morning sun fully broke through the clouds. The digital battlefield had shifted. Emily and Mark scrambled to salvage their lives, sending desperate messages and apologies. Jason monitored every move, the power dynamic now reversed. He felt a cold satisfaction as their world unraveled in real time. Yet beneath the triumph lay a fragile hope. Could any of them find redemption in the wreckage? The city buzzed on, oblivious to the quiet reckoning. Jason closed his laptop briefly, eyes tired but resolute. This is only the beginning, he thought. Outside, the morning light cast long shadows, signaling a day of reckoning and consequence. Jason awoke to the soft hum of morning traffic filtering through his apartment window. The events of the previous night clung heavily to his mind, but his resolve was sharper than ever. He sipped cold coffee, reviewing the relentless flood of responses from Emily and Mark's circle. Some pleaded ignorance, others accused, but all felt the sting of truth exposed. Jason thought, this is more than a fight, it's a reckoning. His fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to dive back into the digital fray. The city outside stirred, oblivious to the storm that had become his life. Every choice now carried weight. Every message could change everything. Emily paced her living room, phone pressed tightly to her ear as she spoke with friends desperate for answers and support. Her voice wavered, torn between anger and regret. I never meant for this to blow up like this, she confessed. The betrayal was now public, and the fallout undeniable. Yet beneath the panic, a flicker of defiance remained. If I'm going down, I'm not going down quietly. Outside, clouds rolled in dark and heavy, threatening rain once again. Emily's world had fractured, and with every passing minute, she felt the edges of control slipping further away. Mark's controlled exterior cracked as he stared at his phone, seeing the growing wave of backlash. His carefully crafted reputation was in ruins. He slammed his hand on the glass table, frustration boiling over. This isn't just a game anymore, he muttered fiercely. He glanced at the city beyond his apartment's panoramic windows, a kingdom slipping through his fingers. Every call he made was met with suspicion, every ally turning cold. Mark realized he was no longer the hunter, but the hunted. His voice dropped to a deadly whisper, it's time to fight back. Jason sat back down, the weight of the unfolding chaos pressing on him. He knew that pushing further risked everything, his safety, his sanity, even his morality. Yet, the fire inside him burned brighter than ever. They deserved to face the consequences, he thought, fingers poised above the keyboard. Outside, the sky darkened with the promise of an afternoon storm, the distant rumble of thunder mirroring the tension inside. Jason's eyes flicked to the clock, knowing the coming hours would test every boundary he'd crossed. The quiet calm before the storm was deceptive. His life was about to change irrevocably. As the first drops of rain tapped against his window, Jason typed out a final message, direct, unyielding, a declaration of war. He sent it to Emily and Mark, their allies, and the unknown faces lurking in the shadows. His breath caught as he hit send, the digital equivalent of dropping a bomb. Outside, the storm broke fully, rain pounding the city streets like a drumbeat of reckoning. Jason sat back, the tension in his shoulders slowly easing, knowing there was no turning back. The world he knew was gone, replaced by a new reality, raw, exposed, and unforgiving. The tension inside Jason's apartment was palpable as evening fell. The dim glow of multiple screens cast eerie shadows on his face, reflecting the storm brewing both outside and within. His hands hovered over the keyboard, heart pounding with the weight of decisions to come. Every message sent had pushed him deeper into a dangerous game, one where trust no longer existed and every ally could turn foe. I'm in too deep now, Jason admitted silently, eyes scanning the flood of replies and threats. Outside, lightning cracked across the dark sky, illuminating the city in harsh bursts. The night was thick with uncertainty, but Jason's resolve burned brighter than ever. Emily sat on the edge of her bed, phone trembling in her hands as she scrolled through the relentless messages. Her breath hitched with a mix of fear and defiance. The fallout was faster and more brutal than she imagined. Friends turned to strangers, trust shattered like glass. I never thought it would come to this, she whispered, voice cracking. But somewhere deep inside, a fierce spark refused to die. I'll fight back, she vowed, wiping tears and setting her jaw. The storm outside raged on, mirroring the chaos within her heart. She was caught in a whirlwind, trapped between regret and survival. Mark paced his penthouse, voice rising as he barked orders into the phone. The facade of control was cracking under pressure. Contain the damage. Find out who leaked this, he demanded. His sharp gaze flickered to the panoramic city view, an empire slipping fast. The luxury around him felt hollow now, a cage built from lies. I won't let this end me, Mark snarled, fists clenched tight. Each tick of the clock was a countdown to collapse or revenge. His breath was heavy, chest rising and falling with rage and desperation. The storm outside seemed to echo his turmoil, relentless and wild. Jason leaned back, exhaustion weighing down his frame, but his mind raced with strategies. The digital war had entered a brutal phase. Every move had to be calculated. The stakes were higher than ever. Friends could betray, enemies could strike. He glanced at a framed photo on his desk, a reminder of what was at risk. No turning back now, he thought. The rain hammered harder on the windows, drumming a relentless rhythm. Despite the chaos, a cold clarity settled over him. He was no longer just a man fighting betrayal. He was a force reshaping the narrative, unforgiving and relentless. The night stretched endlessly as Jason prepared for what might be the final strike. Fingers flying over keys, he crafted messages designed to cut deep and reveal all. His breath was shallow, heart hammering. The storm outside had reached its peak, thunder booming like the clash of titans. He whispered, "This ends tonight." The city held its breath, unaware of the silent war raging in one small apartment. With a final keystroke, Jason launched his attack, sending shockwaves through a world built on secrets. Whatever came next, there was no turning back. The city had fallen into a tense silence as dawn broke, casting a pale light over shattered lives and broken trust. Jason sat alone, the weight of what he had unleashed settling heavily on his shoulders. The digital war had ended, but the emotional fallout was only beginning. Messages stopped flowing, replaced by an eerie quiet that screamed louder than any noise. He whispered to himself, "Is this justice, or just another kind of pain?" The storm had passed, but inside him, a tempest still raged. Outside, the world moved on, indifferent to the private reckoning of one man's heart. Emily stared at her reflection in the cracked mirror, the fight drained from her eyes. The exposure had left her exposed in every way, friends lost, reputation shattered. Yet beneath the despair was a fragile hope, a chance to rebuild from the wreckage. Maybe this is the wake-up call I needed, she thought, voice barely a whisper. The morning sun filtered weakly through the blinds, illuminating the rooms, peeling paint and scattered belongings. Emily's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her phone, contemplating the uncertain road ahead. Mark stood alone on his penthouse balcony. The city stretched below like a kingdom lost. The night's chaos had stripped away his facade, leaving raw vulnerability beneath the tailored suit. He clenched the railing, jaw tight with regret and rage. "I thought I was untouchable," he muttered. The rising sun painted the clouds in fiery oranges and reds, a stark contrast to the cold emptiness inside him. The fight had cost him everything he once held dear. As the first light bathed the city, Mark knew this was an ending, and a beginning he hadn't chosen. Jason closed his eyes, the exhaustion and relief mingling in his chest. The battle had left scars deeper than any visible wound. Yet amidst the wreckage was a fragile peace, the knowledge that truth had been told. He whispered, "Maybe now we can start to heal." Outside, the city awoke to a new day, the first bird's song piercing the silence. Jason's fingers hovered over the keyboard one last time before resting. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long time, hope flickered in the darkness. The city's heartbeat resumed, slow but steady, as dawn fully broke. Jason stepped to the window, watching life move on, cars, people, endless stories untouched by his own. A final line echoed in his mind, "We are all prisoners of the secrets we keep." The photo, the hack, the lies, they had changed everything. But, as the sun climbed higher, so did a quiet resolve. Life would never be the same, but maybe that was the point. Jason turned away from the window, ready to face whatever came next, knowing some wounds heal only with time.